I'm gonna replace the headlights on this Excursion today. They work okay. They're just a little bit yellowed. They've been on here for 6 months or so, and you can just barely tell they've got a little bit of yellowing to them. So we're gonna try a different brand and see if they last any longer. You may not even be able to tell in the video, but this is my personal truck, and yeah, I don't know, I just don't really care for it. So we're gonna swap them out. This truck has already had the header panel cut, so this won't be a how-to video for that. It'll just be more of showing you how to swap these headlights out. These are the ones, or they're, sorry, the same style as I have on here, just a different manufacturer. And I'm gonna put a link in the description on where you can buy these units here. So they look really great. They're a direct copy of the Harley Davidson headlights. The bulbs we're gonna use are these right here. I think we're gonna need to use some converter pigtails, which I already have. But let's see. Yep, there we go, H13s. So these things, I'll put a link in the description for them as well. They seem plenty bright. They're a little bit brighter than the LEDs that I have in here now. All right, so the first thing you're gonna need is, for the top here, 5/16 on both of those. Most likely 5/16 down inside here between this gap. Mine happened to be 1/4 inch, just because that's the hardware that I had when I installed them. So you can barely see this one over here. You may have to drop down your bumper depending on how your gap is. If you have to do that, these two are 18 mil, and there's one down inside there that's a 13 mil. So once you loosen those, you should have enough room to where you can bend that down and get into the gap there. Alrighty, we're gonna start with the passenger side. I'll do the driver's side later since we've got to move the bumper a little bit. On this one, we're gonna start out by removing these two on top. They're both 5/16 or 8 millimeters. And then down on the bottom, they're most likely gonna be the same, 8 millimeter or 5/16. In my case, they're 1/4 inch because I've put headlights in this truck before. All right, here's those bolts down there. Oops. All right, this thing should pop out now. Sometimes they're a tight fit. You just have to see how this one comes out. Two spots that are going to give you trouble are usually around here. It wants to kind of grab the grill, and then down where this fender kind of bends down. But this one wasn't too much trouble. We're going to need to pull up a little bit to clear the bumper and push it forward. Depending on your bumper gap, like how high this bumper is, that's what it's going to determine kind of how much stuff you have to do to get this thing out. Back inside here, you can see my old LED headlights that we're going to replace. Then we have our other signals here. All right, that's the whole light out. I've already got the new one here with the new LED in the back of it. The one thing you're going to need to do to this before you install it is actually remove these little tabs down here. So these are not going to be needed when installing the headlight on a 99 to 2004 truck. You'll actually have to take those and put them down here. So I've already done that on this truck. These will stay right where they're at. Just gonna go ahead and hook up the connections now. I already have the H13 headlight adapter pigtails right here. That's what they look like. Go. On the driver's side, this one right here is going to be almost too short, it feels like, for it to go in, but I promise it will. You may just have to move your wiring harness around a little bit. Okay, connectors are in place. Everything went in really well. On some of these headlights, some of these reproductions, these things usually don't screw in well. You actually have to do some modification to get them in, which is kind of a pain, but these went right in. See how the whole assembly fits in place. It should go in pretty easily. Okay. So we'll start by putting in kind of the bottom of the headlight first. And we'll squish down under this little part on the fender that goes down. Alright, now that our bottom ones are in, we can tighten down the tops. And that is it. Headlights are all installed. The lines look good. Looks pretty good to me. When it gets dark here in a little bit, we'll go ahead and test the light output. Well, I think these things turned out really great. Look pretty good. We'll go out in the dark here in a little bit when it gets darker. We'll test out the throw pattern of the lights themselves. All right, let's check out the